minutes. So I take 3 questions of people who have not spoken yet. Okay, Mr. Minister Jankovic, Monseigneur Sanchez-Orondo, Michel Fouché. Peter, yeah.
Mike.
Et Laurence Nardon. But very short question, please, because we are running behind schedule very, very severely.
Thank you. The wonderful world that the Jean-Yves Le Gall described, this rapid change of technology and science, has of course one serious shortcoming. There has been no similar development of an international regulatory framework to canalize and to protect all the progress that we made in outer space. The Outer Space Treaty of 1967 will be now 50 years old. It has never been adapted to present condition. It talks about the time when there was only the Soviet Union and the United States in space. There's no talk about the role of space actors. And the most serious shortcomings concern 3 fields. First, there's no regulation of militarization of space except the prohibition of weapons of mass destruction. We'll have an enormous problem of space traffic management. More and more satellites are now going into space. There's no such thing as space traffic management. And there's an even graver problem, talking about climate change. There's also a pollution problem in space debris, and has so far virtually no international regulation of that. So I think there are threats over this wonderful world that we have just received. And I think the international community still has a lot to do to correct these shortcomings.
Thank you, Peter. Monseigneur Sanchez-Orondo.
I compliment for the very nice speech. My question is some relation with them. But what is the criteria? There are rules to determine the property of the space, because just is not the land. And what are you have some idea that what could be the solution of this very important problem? Thank you.
No.
Globalement. Michel Fouché.
Une question liée à mon ignorance, j'espère que vous la pardonnerez. Est-ce qu'on ne peut pas imaginer une première mission sur Mars avec des robots plutôt que des hommes, à moins que l'aventure soit aussi humaine que technologique?
L'aventure est humaine, évidemment. Laurence, Short et M. Narayanan. On n'entend pas, on n'entend pas.
I want to know whether in this mission to March we know the different or whether there are any partners from European countries and the United States. Are there other partners such as China and other countries?
La technologie
on a very, very illuminating talk. But in my previous capacity as a National Security Advisor, I've had a lot to do with the Indian space program. Is it possible to give us an idea about the collaboration that's taking place between different space agencies in the exploration of space? I know we have our Mars mission, and I know that particularly between ISRO and CNES, there's been a lot of association. But is it possible to give us a little bigger picture of what's going on? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So very quickly, on the regulation of space, of course, there are some pieces of regulation which are existing, but we are continuing to adapt permanently these regulations according to the technological development, and this is why it's so important to discuss about space in front of such a distinguished audience, because I think that it's important to exchange ideas. This is the first point. The second question was about robots on Mars. We have already robots on Mars, and we have many robots on Mars sent by, mostly by the US, because it's not so easy to land on Mars, but we have rovers, and we have French instruments on this rover. And the idea is to send human people, because human can do things that robots cannot think. For instance, on the moon, the last Apollo mission, Apollo 17, has been probably the most fruitful, because there was the commander of the lunar module was a geologist, Eugen Cernan, and he took exactly the right rocks that he had to take, and all his colleagues did differently. About the Mars mission and the cooperation, it is clear that the keywords for space are three, in my opinion: innovation, inspiration, because we need young people, and to have a real space program, you need to have excellent engineers, because it's really on the edge of the technology, and so we need excellent engineers. So the second keyword is inspiration, but the third keyword, probably the most important, is cooperation. And today we have the International Space Station, which gathers all the space powers of the planet, except China and India. We have numerous cooperation with India and China, and I am sure that the mission to Mars will be probably the ultimate mission, and we will have to associate all the space powers of the International Space Station, plus very certainly China and India.
Quand on commence à parler de l'espace, on a envie de continuer, parce que, encore une fois, cela fait...
When we start talking about space, we cannot stop. It is true that space activities and missions will have a more important role in the upcoming decade. Humanity needs adventure and
of adventure and also of technological progress with sometimes totally unforeseeable application. For instance, even for people like me or people who were studying general relativity, for instance, 3 or 4 decades ago, when we were taught fields like that, we could not have the slightest idea that even general relativity would have concrete implications. It was thought to be only a theory to understand cosmology and this sort of subject. Today, GPS would not work without general relativity behind. So l'aventure n'est pas terminée. Thank you very much, Jean-Yves. Il y a quand même quelqu'un qui va être utile, puisque le nouvel ambassadeur est là. Il est là, il est là, puis il est là, juste devant.